This is the walkthrough for the measurement plan. The measurement plan is the next document you work on after you're done with the training design plan. In the training design plan, you've laid out all of your terminal performance objectives and your enabling performance objectives. But with this document, you're going to make a simple statement of how you plan on measuring all of your performance objectives. The primary purpose for this document is visibility. You want to dictate very clearly why and how you intend on measuring the efficacy of the course, which we call evaluation, and the performance of the participants, which we call assessment. So let's take a quick look through the measurement plan. The first part of this document is pretty clear-cut. Putting in the project title name, the purpose of the project, what the expected results of the project will be, and the due date that you plan on deploying it. The next part are your stakeholders. You want to list out all the people, what the roles are, what their job titles are, and how to contact them. This is important in case for some reason the project has to be shifted to another instructional designer, if you go on vacation, or there's a question about who is involved in developing and contributing to this training project. This next section is the terminal performance objectives. You're not going to measure your enabling performance objectives as deeply as you will your terminal performance objectives. Your training project might only have one terminal performance objective, or TPO, or it may have many. Here you want to dictate what that TPO is and the measurement device you plan on using and whether or not you need a rubric or not. The question about whether or not you need a rubric is completely dependent on what type of device you plan on using. If you're going to be doing a practical exercise, if you're going to have an actual discussion where people have to have a conversation, or if it's based on essay questions, you need to have a rubric that establishes the competency level that determines whether or not they pass or fail. You'll note that this says assessment because we're measuring the performance of the participants. The next section is measuring the performance of the course. Again, we're using the LTEM, Learning Transfer Evaluation Model. And I break it out into tiers where I put down the dates that I intend on measuring these things and the methodology that I plan on applying to each of these tiers. Now, one thing to remember, you can have a plan for doing the measurement, and you should always have a plan of doing so, but a lot of organizations won't give you the opportunity or even have the bandwidth, or the industry might not allow you to be able to measure the course as well as you would like. The next section is a change log. If you change anything on this, you need to name it and you need to put the date down. This is more important for revisioning. Once you've completed developing this course and it goes into its maintenance cycle, if you change any of the TPOs, if the stakeholders change or what have you, you want to keep track of that in the change log. Always include the what was changed, what was created, and the date that you did it. This also goes towards your learning chain of evidence. Finally, the last thing you have on this are your approvals. You always want to have a place where people can sign and date that they've looked at this document and that they've approved it. Again, you email this to all the stakeholders and you put in the email that they need to respond with a signed version of this by the end of a certain amount of time. And if they don't, it's tacit approval that they approve and accept your measurement plan.